Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to bypass all those tired pop astrology stereotypes and really deconstruct the true depths of the Pisces personality. And we're doing this by leaning into the rigorous, honestly fascinating logic of ancient Hellenistic astrology. So, whether you're trying to figure out why the Pisces in your life does what they do, or maybe you're a Pisces yourself trying to make sense of your own depths, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, so let's jump right in with a big foundational question. What fundamental forces actually combine to make Pisces the vast, boundaryless, and just profoundly empathetic ocean of the zodiac wheel? Because to understand this 12th and final sign, which is literally the culmination of the entire astrological journey, we really have to look closely at its core ingredients. All right, taking a look at their vital stats. Pisces is rooted in the water element. It has a mutable quality, and its ruling planets are Jupiter, which we'll talk a lot more about in just a minute, and Neptune. Oh, and if you're tracking the calendar, Pisces season officially runs from February 19th to March 20th. Basically, these overlapping qualities create a personality that is just inherently receptive and highly intuitive. Moving on to Section 1, Traits of the Pisces, examining the surface waters. So starting right at the surface level with everyday behaviors. A Pisces native's deep compassion and adaptability are amazing, right? But they beautifully and sometimes frustratingly clash with an extreme sensitivity. This sensitivity is exactly what can make them seem kind of absent-minded or unreliable, or even wishy-washy when they struggle to set boundaries. Because they empathize so intensely with everyone around them, saying no is just incredibly hard for them. And honestly, when reality gets a little too harsh, it's super common for them to just tap out and withdraw into a dream world to escape. Which brings us to this brilliant quote from the source material. It calls them the confessors of the Zodiac. And this hits the nail on the head regarding their emotional intelligence. Unlike fire signs that blast their energy outward, Pisces energy is a sponge. It's all about listening and absorbing. They extract deep meaning from other people's experiences and can accept the wildest human contradictions without a single ounce of judgment. I mean, it's exactly why people naturally spill their deepest, darkest secrets to them. All right, let's go a layer down. Section 2, the mutable water element, descending deeper. By definition, water is an element that seeks connection, right? It has absolutely no inherent shape of its own. But when you make that water mutable, it gives Pisces this really signature, slippery, ephemeral quality. Think about it. Unlike ice, which is completely rigid, mutable water is vast, it's boundaryless, and it is constantly shifting. Exactly like the ocean. They are always moving, always seeking connection, without ever holding a strict, rigid shape. So how does this actually play out in their daily reality? Well, just as a single drop of water completely disappears the second it touches the ocean, a Pisces frequently feels totally absorbed into the collective. Because they take in so much from their environment, they can easily feel kind of half hidden or half evaporated. They genuinely struggle to untangle their own personal feelings from the feelings of the people sitting right next to them. Imagine trying to sort out your own emotions in a packed, chaotic room. That right there is the quintessential Pisces experience. Let's look at the planetary influence now. Section 3, Jupiter's quiet optimism, the traditional ruler. Now, while modern astrology almost always points to Neptune as the ruler of Pisces, the traditional Hellenistic framework reveals something absolutely fascinating. It's actually Jupiter that gives Pisces its signature quiet optimism. See, Jupiter's the planet of expansion, bigness, and total inclusiveness. So when it expresses itself through those receptive waters of Pisces, it creates this deep, profound, trusting faith that actively seeks to reconcile opposites. They aren't out there desperately hunting for hard proof or raw data. They're driven by this massive desire for universal connection and coherence. Okay, Section 4, planets of art and exile, Venus and Mercury. So what happens when other planets take a swim in Pisces? We see some wildly contrasting dignities here. As you can see, Venus finds really high honor here. It's exalted, which leads to a gorgeous softness, a unifying sense of beauty, and this massive affinity for the arts. But then you look at Mercury. Mercury is the planet of logic, maps, and counting. And it is in detriment and fall here. Basically, it's completely exiled in Pisces, totally struggling with rigid logic and just wandering around in a land of no words. Breaking this down a bit more, thanks to Venus, Pisces natives are incredibly poetic, connective, and just naturally drawn to emotional harmony, think music and poetry. But they profoundly struggle with mercurial tasks. Seriously, do not expect a Pisces to get excited about rigid to-do lists, super precise articulation, or counting out discrete quantities. The logic here is actually pretty profound when you think about it. You simply cannot count the individual drops in the sea. So the Pisces mind just inherently rebels against breaking things down into separate, rigid little boxes. For a Pisces, qualitative meaning is always going to trump quantitative data. They much prefer to navigate this meandering land of no words. In this fluid, boundaryless space, profound feelings and the intuitive, felt sense of a situation communicate way more than precise articulation ever could. It's exactly why they might come across as a bit flaky when it comes to strict schedules, but absolutely brilliant like true geniuses when it comes to creative and imaginative endeavors. Which leads us to our final stop, Section 5, the tale of two fish, internal contradictions. Let's take a close look at the ancient symbol of the sign itself, two fish swimming in totally opposite directions but chained together at the mouth. This dual-bodied image is such a brilliant illustration of their lifelong internal struggle. Unlike, say, the centaur of Sagittarius that moves forward as one unified entity, these fish pull in entirely different ways but remain completely inseparable. A Pisces is constantly doing the work of holding the tension of opposites, deeply understanding that two totally contradictory things can exist as true at exactly the same time. And just as it's practically impossible to put your hands around a slippery, wet fish, you just cannot pin down a Piscean truth with rigid terrestrial structures. They are truly ephemeral creatures. They prefer the vast, mysterious depths of the human psyche over the stark, dry, unyielding definitions of the land. And honestly, this is exactly why they so desperately crave and completely thrive on mental and creative freedom. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. Whether you've got prominent Pisces placements in your own chart, or you're just trying to get a better read on a loved one, how will you embrace their Jupiterian inclusiveness and that Venusian artistry? How can you use these insights to better navigate the deepest, sometimes murky, but absolutely beautiful waters of the human experience? It really is a profound journey of empathy. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. Keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.